What's up, you guys? I hope everyone had a great week. I'm kind of like still coming off a vacation, but I wanted to catch up with you guys and talk about the situation with Miss Kim Burrell. Kim Burrell, who is 49 years old, has been in the headlines this past week for comments she made, basically calling the congregation that she was ministering to broke and ugly in a nutshell. She made comments that amounted to her shaming them, like basically financially shaming them and calling them ugly. Now, whether she meant ugly on the inside or ugly on the outside is up for debate. But she says it's all a joke, it's all a misunderstanding. But I want to get into what she said when it comes to the financial shaming, like basically poverty shaming. One of the things I don't like is when people stand on a pulpit, even from a physical level, when they stand elevated above other people, like how the pulpit is elevated, and then they shame the people that they're standing above for not having money when their income comes from the people that they're standing above. That's something I don't like. That's something I don't like. That's like a trigger for me. It's something I really don't like. But in this video, I want to talk about what Kim Burrell said, even if she said it in jest. She said it was a joke, so I can take it in jest. Some people make bad jokes. I can take it in jest. But she basically made jokes about people living in poverty and needing PPP loans. And then it's come out that she may have been the recipient of a PPP loan herself. So let's get into it. She was in the pulpit and she was like, sometimes before we get friends, we have to do an interview. How long you been broke? How many times have you changed your name on your light bill? How many of your bills are in your little cousin's name? Do you live in a trailer home or a house? And she said that while laughing, and she's saying these are jokes. But these are like what I call rich people jokes. Like they're really not funny. Like when you laugh at poverty, like it's really not funny. It's almost like sick. But she said, you understand it's not about status or material things. It's just about choices. And I also feel strongly that sometimes poverty is not about choices. Sometimes people don't have the best options to choose from. So I guess I'm really sensitive when people make jokes about people who have a low income. That's something that really bothers me, and especially like I said, when those people who are making the jokes make their income from people who have less than them. Anyway, she went on to say, hopefully we'll get a chance to meet each other when y'all invite me to come to your church. I'm not as expensive as I seem. I don't know, maybe you got a little left from your PPP loan. Prayer, praise, and power. You understand, amen. So that was a joke. She was joking that, people would need a PPP loan. Like when these guests come to the church, I hope you guys know, like these are a lot of times paid appearances. And so she was joking that she's not as expensive as people might think she is. Her paid appearances are not as expensive as people might think. And I'm not judging her for charging people for her appearances because, we all have to live. So I'm not judging her for that. But for the jokes that she has made about poverty and basically shaming people for their finances, I do judge her for that. So she made the jokes about people basically being poor, putting bills in their little cousin's name and, needing a PPP loan. And then come to find out, she is showing up on the list. She is in the number for having received a PPP loan herself. She's on the list. Unless there's another Kimberly Burrell, music publisher from Houston, Texas, and that happens to be her hometown, she is showing up on the list of PPP loan recipients. This is a website where you look up people who have received PPP loans. And it says PPP loan data, Kimberly Burrell, Houston, Texas, entity, single member LLC, industry, music publishers, location, Houston, Texas. And it says Kimberly Burrell is a single member LLC located in Houston, Texas, that received a coronavirus-related PPP loan from the SBA of $20,833 in May 2020. The company has reported itself as a male-owned business and employed at least one person during the applicable loan period. Now, why it says male-owned, but then also says single member LLC is a little bit confusing because obviously Kimberly is a woman. So there may be a clerical error there or some type of error there. But it definitely says Kimberly Burrell in Houston, Texas, received a Paycheck Protection loan of $20,833 from Benworth Capital, which was approved in May 2021. This loan status is reported by the SBA as paid in full, which includes both loans repaid and those fully forgiven from repayment under PPP guidelines. The loan status was last updated in March 2022. On the PPP application, Kimberly Burrell reported intending to use the proceeds of their PPP loan for the following expenses: payroll, $20,833. Now, here's the thing, you guys. I also don't judge anyone who's gotten a PPP loan, especially if you were able to get it forgiven, because I feel like it's essentially free money. Like, if you're able to get the loan and get the loan forgiven, then you got free money. And I'm not going to hate on getting free money. But what I am judging is when you make jokes about other people living in poverty and having to do things because they're living in poverty, like put bills in other people's name and try to save their credit, and just different things that people try to do. When someone makes jokes, quote unquote jokes about that, but then doesn't disclose that they also got a PPP loan, that's the problem for me. That's the problem for me. If she had made the joke, but then also said, I got a PPP loan too, then okay, I get it. I get it. But when to make the joke and then not admit that you yourself, your business was a recipient of a PPP loan, that's the problem for me. But you guys, leave a comment and let me know what you think. What do you think about these documents showing that Kimberly Burrell was the recipient of a PPP loan in 2021? And that she's made jokes about people living in poverty and needing PPP loans to pay her fee, to pay her appearance fee. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about that. As always, thanks for watching. And if you've been thinking about starting a blog in 2022, if you've been thinking about starting a blog and just never gotten around to it, or you don't know how to start a blog in 2022, my class, The Business of Blogging, is now live. The Business of Blogging with LaylaLynn.com, or go to MajorKeyAlerts.com to join my class, The Business of Blogging, where I'm sharing the foundational principles of the business aspect of blogging.